It is my meditation all the day, all the night, morning through night. And I delight in the law of the Lord, and on his law I meditate day and night. Morning Meditations with C.J. Marshall.
Good morning. This morning we're going to start in Galatians 2:15, and Paul's going to talk about being justified by faith versus perfect law keeping to the law of Moses. Let's get started. Galatians 2:15. We ourselves are Jews by birth, and not Gentile sinners. Yet we know that a person is not justified by works of the law, but through faith in Jesus Christ. So we also have believed in Christ Jesus in order to be justified by faith in Christ and not by the works of the law. Because by the works of the law no one will be. Paul says in no uncertain terms that you and I cannot be justified or seek justification in the law of Moses, but by faith in Jesus Christ. So you got these two contrasting ideas. Justification by faith in Jesus Christ and justification by perfect, sinless law keeping of the law of Moses. We need to be justified by faith in Christ. No one will be justified by law keeping because salvation was never in law keeping. It was always ultimately found in Christ because Christ could do what the law could not, save a man's soul perfectly. Paul continues, but if, in our endeavor to be justified in Christ, we too were found to be sinners, is Christ then a servant of sin? Certainly not. In our pursuit to be what we ought to be, in our pursuit to be justified, to live a holy life, we will have slip ups. But our slip ups don't make Christ a sinner. Our imperfections God can use for his benefit. The, the goal of Christ will still be met. For if I rebuild what I tore down, I prove myself to be a transgressor. When you and I obey the sweet gospel of Christ, we rejected the old law and entered into a new covenant. Not one that the Jews were under, but one of faith and mercy, the law of Christ. Why would we ever want to go back to the old faulty covenant, Paul says? And he says in Galatians 2:19 to end this text for this morning, for through the law I died to the law so that I might live to God. The law of Moses showed a individual how unholy he was, how unworthy he was to be in God's presence. Through the law, He died to the law. He realized the law was too holy and he needed Christ. He realized that God was too holy. He would have to keep the old law perfectly. And so, in order to live to God, so we too must be justified by faith. Thank you for joining me for another edition of Morning Meditations. May we always be like the psalmist that says, "Oh, how I love your law. It is my meditation all the day." I'll see you next week. God bless.
Morning meditations, oh how I love thy law, it is my meditation all the day, all the night, morning through night. And I delight in the law of the Lord, and on his law I meditate day and night.